Indigenous families are appealing to the Northern Territory government to speed up action on its promise to divert more young people from detention. The government has acknowledged its detention centres are crime schools which funnel young offenders into adult prisons. But the latest statistics reveal it's locking up as many young people now as before the Youth Detention Royal Commission.
Artist Martina Parry always had high hopes for her grandson. She helped him to get to grips with ADHD and then, with support from teachers and her local priest, got him into an interstate boarding school.
I'd like him to go further with his education. I mean, every child needs an education, doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, yes.
2 years ago, at the age of 14, when he started hanging out with a rough crowd and then set fire to a stolen car, she feared the worst.
My worst fear was that he'd put into the detention.
But with the help of a Darwin lawyer, she persuaded the Supreme Court to order her grandson to attend the boarding school instead of going into detention.
The politicians need to listen, because putting them in detention is not the first choice, because it'll only make matters worse.
She and lawyer Jared Sharp are calling on the Territory government to get more teenagers out of detention.
It's basically a crime school where their peers become other kids who've been in trouble with the law, and that's our biggest guarantee that we're going to set those young people up for a future of crime.
Youth detention numbers had dropped while the Royal Commission was sitting last year, but they're back up to pre-commission levels. There are currently 45 children in detention, all of them Indigenous, and many are on remand, waiting to find out if they'll be convicted.
The Northern Territory doesn't have the non-custodial sentencing options that other parts of Australia have, so I'd love to see increased investment in those.
Since Labor was elected almost 2 years ago, residential youth diversion programs have contracted, and funding has been announced for just one new service, victim offender conferencing.
We absolutely recognise the need to do more diversion and community work and activities outside of youth justice.
The government's still working on its plan to get most of those on remand out of detention.
This is an absolute demonstration of the size of the problem that we are dealing with, and it's not something that can be fixed overnight.
The Chief Minister says he wasn't told about an alleged rape of a youth detainee by his cellmate in Alice Springs last April and wouldn't expect to be. The police interviewed the alleged victim, but he didn't want to lodge a complaint.
I'm not always informed on what's occurring. It obviously depends on the issue and how it's handled.
Martina Parry's grandson is studying hard interstate after avoiding detention.
People shouldn't be ashamed to get help, because kids are our next generation.
She's hoping other families will follow her lead. Jane Bardon, ABC News.